This is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue, and I am Jenna Wasonko. Thanks for joining us here at the main news headlines. In a bid to strengthen border security, the Gambia Immigration Department on Friday launched digital data collection and management facilities at 2 border entry points. We hear from drivers and commuters about the prevalence of accidents on the 22-kilometer road under construction from the Banjul Junction Airport through Battle Haddon Highway. Following the launch of the Gambia's first ever capital market last week, QTV engaged Ulemi Delala, capital market development specialist, to shed light on this business investment platform. And in business news, we have the exchange rates from the Central Bank of the Gambia for the 9th to the 15th of October 2023. And in sports news, Bakari Waibaja, the Minister of Youth and Sports, inaugurates the Governing Council of National Sports Council. Now those were the main headlines, and now the news in detail. Do stay. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I am Jenna Bosonko. Now, the Gambia Immigration Department on Friday launched the digital data collection and management facilities at 2 border entry points in the West Coast region and the Lower River region. The project, which is being implemented across several border entry points across the country, is aimed at supporting the Immigration Department for effective migration data collection and management. Mohamedou Lamin Choi has the rest of that story.
From manual to digital data collection, immigration officers at the Dasilame and Misra border crossing points in the West Coast and Upper River regions, respectively, will have their work made easier and more efficient. The Gambia Immigration Department, together with local authorities and the UN Agency for Migration, IOM, are cutting the ribbon for the inauguration of Migration Information and Data Analysis System, MIDAS, at these border crossing points. Sidi M. Toure is the Director General of the Gambia Immigration Department.
The main objective is to address the causes of instability and conflict in the border regions and communities, which include weak border management practices, fueling mistrust between border authorities and communities, rising transnational organized crimes such as smuggling of migrants and trafficking in persons, as well as addressing the illegal exploitation of our natural resources, leading to environmental degradation.
With funding from Japan, the Gambia Immigration Department and IOM are jointly implementing a project to transform border control and management in the Gambia at several border crossing points. Now, when travelers enter the Gambia through these entry points, immigration officers will digitally record their biography and biometric data through the use of document readers, webcams, and fingerprint readers. This migration data collection technology is faster and more accurate in collecting data. Sidi Lamin Ba is the governor of the Lower River region.
We understand border management issues are very, very sensitive, and hence it is relevant and important as well as apt at this time to create such a facility that will ease the movement of people and goods as well as their services. What I want to tell the people here is that we have to take this seriously. The equipment that has been brought here are very expensive and difficult to manage. So the management system that is here should be very good and should be monitored to continually provide the services that is relevant.
The new digital data collection system promotes border security because it automatically records and checks entry and exit data against national and Interpol alert lists. The technology was developed by IOM in 2009. Stephen Matete is the IOM Interim Chief of Mission in the Gambia.
And this project is basically aimed at strengthening cross-border cooperation between border authorities and communities through enhanced integrated border management and natural resources management practices between these two countries. All the equipment we are handling today is geared towards enhancing security. Ladies and gentlemen, we have also trained a lot of border officials at these border posts on the use of this equipment. As we stand here today, all the officers can fully operate and manage the equipment that have been installed in these facilities.
The Migration Information and Data Management System has now been installed at 7 major border crossing points across the Gambia. Local authorities, including village heads, have praised the development as it will enhance border control and management, trade and integration between the people of the Gambia and other nationals. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
Very significant step there. Now, away from that, the construction of the 22-kilometer road from Airport Junction through Battle Haddon Highway has been welcomed by the public. The road is expected to improve traffic in anticipation of the OIC summit. However, the prevalence of accidents on this road under construction is very worrying. Lena Igwenyiba visited the area and she now reports.
Road traffic accidents have become a major concern in the Gambia. Hardly a day goes by without news of an accident, many resulting in loss of lives and injuries. This highway is a blessing to the public. However, reckless driving, overspeeding and drink driving is responsible for most of the accidents that happened here, according to the people we spoke to. Alaji Njai, a driver who plied the Senegambia area, explains the challenges drivers and commuters face with some reckless drivers.
People should exercise caution, especially with private drivers, who sometimes care less about safety. Driving is a big responsibility, but we often see drivers overspeeding while using their phones, or even under the influence of alcohol. These actions put our lives in danger.
Baimbai Sar has been driving for 7 years. He expressed concern about the ongoing road construction in the Senegambia area.
If you are driving from Sukuta Jawang Junction towards Coastal Road, there is no provision for vehicles to make a turning to the opposite lane up to Coastal Road, even though there are settlements in the area. There is a problem with the way it is constructed. It should also have speed ramps. If not, there is likely to be more accidents.
Mikhailu Barrow, a commuter, emphasized the need for collective efforts, responsible driving and safety improvements to make the roads safer.
I have observed a lack of respect on this road. Both the police and traffic-abiding drivers face challenges from reckless drivers, and this is a major contributor to accidents. People also need to adapt to wider roads, and the police should strategically position themselves to assist with the traffic flow. I urge people to respect law enforcement. They are there to assist citizens. Drivers must adhere to traffic rules and prioritize safety. If everyone fulfills their responsibilities, we can mitigate these accidents.
The World Road Traffic Accident Index, which measures global road traffic accidents, ranked the Gambia in 8th place in 2022 in the list of countries with the worst record of accidents. The increasing number of road accidents serve as a stark reminder of the importance of responsible and attentive driving to ensure that all roads become safe for all. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyiba.
Following the launch of the Gambia's first ever capital market last week as part of the government's efforts to enhance the operations and transactions of the country's financial systems, we engaged Ulemida Lala, Capital Market Development Specialist, to shed more light on this business investment platform. Capital markets facilitate exchange of funds between suppliers and those who seek capital for their own use. Suppliers in capital markets are typically banks and investors, while those who seek capital are businesses, governments and individuals. The Gambia's introduction of a capital market has the potential to assist in developing deep and liquid government bond markets where local resources could be mobilized for innovative financing. Ulimide Lala, Capital Development Specialist, elaborates.
The Gambian capital market is one that will provide a platform for long-term capital formation, especially for infrastructure development, which, as you know, it's essentially needed in the Gambia, be it roads, hospitals, infrastructure like transportation, housing. I noticed you're building a new university. That would obviously require long-term finance. So the capital market will effectively assist in all of that space.
Despite the existence of over 13 commercial banks in the Gambia, the private sector lacks sufficient access to credit facilities, especially young entrepreneurs. Since the introduction of the capital market in the Gambia, many have been inquiring about the risk involved. Mr. Lala explains.
Your regulator has taken a lot of direction and advice from capital markets that have worked, and so they are looking to build regulations around the capital market operations that will protect the investor. Their job is to protect the investor first. So I will say it is certainly safer than lending your neighbor money.
South Africa and other African countries are examples of countries that have reaped from having well-developed capital markets. The local currency bond and equity markets helped these countries during financial crisis, helping to absorb capital inflows, reduce the dependency on foreign debt, and therefore limit the adverse effects of the global crisis. How selective is a capital market? Mr. Lala again.
Everybody in the country can benefit, either as an investor, and that goes all the way to the man on the street who can put his little change, all the way through to the people looking to raise money to expand their businesses. Even the government of the country will raise money. So literally, the government will raise money from the private sector, and we will have instruments, tradable instruments that the you and I can invest in. So we'll have government bonds, for instance, to do infrastructure projects. You will actually see what your money is going to. So rather than just your taxes, you will invest in government securities, which will be used to build bridges, which will be used to build rail lines and waterways, and invest in agriculture business.
Capital markets are crucial for economic development. However, they can fuel misinformation, greed, and economic downturn. These consequences are often perpetuated by businesses and investors using incentives, which can greatly influence the market. It is hoped that the introduction of the first ever capital market in the Gambia will greatly bring about access to finance, and particularly finance to fund capital-intensive sectors such as agriculture. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko. From that story, we'll now go for a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have some more local business and sports news. Do stay.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, Gambia's trusted network.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV News, and I'm Jenna Basonko. Now, a youth-led organization that is involved in fish farming in Kundam village in Tumana district is making progress in breeding and rearing fish. Our regional correspondent, Alaji A.F. Jallo, has the rest of that.
Seafood constitutes a significant part of many Gambians' diet. As demand for seafood has increased, technology has made it possible to grow food in coastal marine waters and open places. And fish farming is one such method to combat the occasional shortage of fish in our markets. I visited a fish farm in Kundam village in the Tumana district, URR, run by an organization called Regional Youth Development Farm and funded by GIZ. Babukar Jawla, one of the participants, expressed his willingness and commitment to become involved in the program.
Mol kondo na meni yalongo wolle keda sababu de pour kanyin na jang mingira jiay setting gold nge kondo mbake nge tendu because funding la lafiola hitandi fananate danku funding la.
Firstly, we want to thank GIZ for supporting us with this project. When the youths expressed their interest and willingness to engage in fish farming, GIZ responded by providing us with the opportunity. We have 10 ponds here. Each pond has a capacity of harboring 5,000 species of fish. 30 youths can benefit from each pond. Therefore, 10 ponds can accommodate up to 300 youths. At the moment, the project has started training participants. If the youths are engaged in gainful employment, the bagway syndrome will also be reduced. The farm manager and president of Kundam Youth Farm, Alhaji Maudo Suso, says the project will give opportunity to a lot of the productive youths in the region. He also believes it will help close the gap of youth unemployment and thereby reduce irregular migration to Europe and rural-urban drift.
Data forense roton silanta bangola kuola back. Neneman silangambia la kuola ko ulunsi. Nga bosi lulle tari bajara.
Last week, I visited the borders. What I saw was scary and terrifying. I found 5 buses at the Bajara-Sabi border. All these buses were filled up with our youths aged 15 to 35 years. All of them were on their journey to the Bagway. I met over 400 youths at the border, boarding the buses. This happens weekly. You see, the government has secured lots of projects for the youths, but the question are, how is it funded? What impact is it creating? Are the youths benefiting directly? These are critical questions that need to be addressed. The government needs to look into youth-related matters seriously. Secondly, The National Assembly should allocate substantial budget to cater for the needs of the youth. If the youths don't have the enabling environment, they will all go. Then who will remain here to develop this country? Omi Jallo, also a participant, calls on government and donor partners to look into the plight of youths. If the work begins properly here at the farm, it will empower the youths. It can create employment, provide income to the families, and thereby contribute to socio-economic development of the country. We are appealing for more support to be able to continue fish farming individually after gaining the skills and knowledge. According to the youths at the farm, their project has been grappling with water shortages as the borehole built for the project is no longer functioning. Their only water source in the garden does not have the capacity to meet their demands, especially in the dry season if the garden is in full operation. The project is expected to provide an alternative source of jobs for young people, especially those who cannot fish at sea, thus enhancing poverty reduction. Reporting for QTV News, I am Alaji F. Jallo.
As schools resume for the 2023-2024 academic year, education authorities in the Lower River region say they are working to achieve the indicators in the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education's minimum standard. Our Lower River region correspondent Bakari Balde visits some of the schools, and this is his report.
Over the years, schools in this region have registered significant improvement in the National Assessment Test (NAT), the Gambia Basic Education Certificate Examination (GABEX), and the West African Senior Secondary School Certificate Examination (WASC). Lamin Sanyang is the cluster monitor for Kayaf cluster.
Generally in our cluster, that is Kayaf, the attendance for pupils and staff is average. Though in some schools, students have turned in large numbers. In some schools, really it's a challenge. Teaching and learning also commences.
Osman Jaju, the principal of Soma Upper and Senior Secondary School, says the preparation ahead of the new academic year have gone well. While applauding the students and teachers for last year's achievements, he asked for support in the science subjects.
Since the initiation of science as a field in this school, we are there not to get a single physics and chemistry specialist. For biology, that one we are always lucky to have them. Teachers will be posted here within 1 month, 2 months. They decided to go because what they expect might be not on the ground. So these are some of our challenges we have. We have a very well equipped labs. Everything is there, but to get the human capacity, that's our biggest challenge at the moment.
Momodu Jata, the head teacher of Soma Lower Basic School, commended the community for always supporting the school and further explained how they operate.
Each senior master or mistress allocated a stream is also doing very well to make sure that we improve. And the SMC Mothers Club and VDC also do visit children in classes.
Lamin Esbaro, a teacher, emphasized how they intend to help students boost their performance.
We'll be monitoring the students, all the time in their classes, outside the classes, and even, preferably even at home. If we can have, people, teachers, a lot of teachers who are, committed to do this, they can be monitoring the students in and out.
Mariette Kuyate and Aissatou Kamara, both students from Soma Upper and Senior Secondary School, expressed delight for the opening of schools and have this to say.
The advice I have for my fellow students is to work hard in both in the school and at home. You cannot come to school every day, you learn and then go home, you place your books, you don't read. Grade 12 is not like that. Grade 12 is all about reading hard, studying hard.
Let them get away from social life. Let them make sure that they study at home and then make sure that they pass their exams. And the teachers also, let them make sure they encourage their students so that their students will not have that notion in them that I'm going to fail.
As learning recommences, education authorities in the region are hoping for a productive outcome in this academic year. Bakari Balde, QTV News.
Now, good luck to all students in this academic year and beyond. Now, let's take a look at business. The Central Bank of the Gambia has issued official interbank foreign exchange rates for the 9th to the 15th of October, and here are those rates.
Here are the foreign exchange rates from the Central Bank of the Gambia from the 9th to the 15th of October 2023. 1 United States dollar, $61.51 batuts. 1 euro, $65.94 batuts. 1 British pound, $75.90 batuts. 1 Swiss franc, $66.08 batuts. 5,000 CFA franc, $495.85 batuts. 100 Swedish krona, $530.50 batuts. 100 Norwegian krone, $546.87 batuts. 100 Danish krone, $845.90 batuts. West African units of account currency, $81.93 batuts. Those were the foreign exchange rates from the Central Bank of the Gambia from the 9th to the 15th of October 2023. Aldo Dele Campbell reporting for QTV News.
From the exchange rates, now let's take a look at what is happening in the world of sports. Bakari Waibaji, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Friday inaugurated the Governing Council of the National Sports Council that will run sports affairs in the Gambia for the next 4 years. Lena Igwenyiba has more.
The NYC Council is headed by a chairman appointed by the Minister of Youth and Sports, in addition to 3 other members, 2 of whom must be women. In his inaugural speech, Bakari Waibaji announced the newly appointed members.
We have appointed a chairperson and the person of Mr. Lamin S. Jawara, and 3 other members, namely Ms. Beatrice A. Mboj, Ms. Maimuna Sidibe, and Mr. Ibrahim Mane. These, in my opinion, will bring a wealth of knowledge and experience as they have served in various capacities in sports and some important sectors previously. It is my singular honor at this point to declare the new National Sport Council 2023-2027 officially inaugurated, and wish you all the best in your work as council members.
The Youth and Sports Minister further underscored the ministry's unwavering commitment to the development of sports in the Gambia.
We believe that sports is a private-led industry, and that private-led industry must be enabled by the government for their effective and efficient operation with the necessary laws and policies. As a ministry, we will continue to be committed to our mandate, thus retaining our core responsibility of facilitating youth and sport development through the creation of a conducive policy environment. As I speak, the ministry is at the final stage of developing the National Sports Act, which will effectively repeal the National Sport Council Act of 2000.
Lamin S. Jawara, chairman of the National Sports Council, who was reappointed, expressed gratitude for the trust and expressed his readiness to serve.
I would therefore offer my sincerest and boundless gratitude to the Honorable Minister of Youth and Sports, the staff of the ministry, and the National Sports Council for the trust and confidence placed in me to serve as the chairman of the National Sports Council for the next 2 years. I am equally confident that I have the knowledge, the experience, and passion needed to execute the functions of a chairman of this National Sports Council.
The National Sports Council also includes representatives from the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education, the Directorate of Planning and Programs of the Ministry of Youth and Sports, and the chairpersons of the 7 regional sport committees. Outgoing board members received certificates of appreciation, and the new board convened its first meeting. The National Sports Council plays an important role in registering and regulating national sports associations, as well as coordinating, supervising, developing and promoting sports throughout Gambia. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwenyiba.
Congratulations, Council members. Now that is all we have time for, but before we leave, let's recap our main headlines. In a bid to strengthen border security, the Gambia Immigration Department on Friday launched the digital data collection and management facilities at 2 border entry posts in the West Coast region and Lower River regions. We heard from drivers and commuters about the prevalence of accidents on the 22-kilometer road under construction from the airport junction through Battle Haddon Highway. Following the launch of the Gambia's first ever capital market last week, QTV engaged Olimida Lala, Capital Market Development Specialist, to shed more light on this business investment platform. In business news, we heard from foreign exchange rates from the Central Bank of the Gambia for the 9th to the 15th of October 2023. And in sports news, Bakari Waibaji, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Friday inaugurated the Governing Council of the National Sports Council. Well, that is all we have for you in this edition of QTV News. Do not forget to tune in tomorrow at 8 p.m. for the Week in Review, and do stay tuned for other interesting programs. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.